And your tailing dump location is like halfway around the world.
It's
Without flying, this would be not fun.
yeah, it's a little bit of a doozy. That's where the strip mine is, and we tend to put that in the middle of nothing just because it destroys everything around it. As you'll see as you load in. This is the world operation right now.
Beautiful.
Yeah. What's bad is this tower is about half the size of what it was last server when we finally reset it.
Have you been more efficient, or why? Like, what has caused it to be smaller?
So the biggest thing is there's actually another group of smiths on here. We actually have 3 main smiths on here. So you have the strip mine, Dory, and Ashley, and then you have Eine and kind of Pal, and they have a whole town over there that kind of mines and gets everything going. But we'll see that in a little bit.
Yeah,
But kind of this was...
Should we pick somewhere to start? It's really just starting here.
Oh, yeah,
It seems like there's a lot of stuff here.
There's a little bit of stuff
Here.
here. Do you want to move
Quite a
location?
bit. Because we can go, the main points are going to be the main town, which is Baghdad, Timbuktu, and then the pit.
So Tanner, which do you think is the best way to sequence this?
Probably where it all started, back at Baghdad.
Okay, let's head over there.
Are y'all on Strange Loop on Twitch so I can jump in the Twitch chat?
Yeah, Strange Loop Games.
But yeah, so pretty much the whole entire thing started right on this kind of corner. There was a giant mountain right over here, as you can see where Arab and them live, and the first thing that our great founder, James...
let me find you. Where are you guys?
I'm standing right on the marker, just hovering a little bit above you.
Okay, there we go.
It's mostly I don't have a dedicated box.
Okay.
Yet.
So you say this is your 6th server that you've sixth time you've
So this is the 18th total iteration, the 12th under the Enjoy My Eco name.
Oh wow. Have you done sort of the similar arc of, just build up, build big, and then shoot down the meteor? Or how's the different servers?
So the main thing that we started with was we started as kind of a hardcore grind server. We were playing first iteration. We played at probably 10% experience.
Okay.
Server's back good, and that lasted about 75 days probably. And everything was huge, everything was built up. And the only problem that we ran into was once you get about 12, 13 people and you're at that low of an experience rate, you kind of rely on people too much. So whenever life happens outside of the game, it kind of falls apart.
Okay.
So we've kind of, over every iteration, we've kind of lowered the experience. This is actually the highest done experience, and we're going back to a little bit lower next reset. But we're trying, it's kind of trying that, find that perfect balance of what keeps people engaged in building and makes the beginning fast enough and the late game slow enough to where everything kind of stands out.
Okay, and also I'm headed back over to Baghdad.
Yeah.
So what is the experience at right now? I cannot remember from this study.
So we have, right now we have experience rate at 1 for skill rate setting, and then we have point.
I saw you cut out there.
I'm grabbing the exact difficulty numbers.
Oh, excellent. So thank you for that follow.
So it is, our unlearn refund rate is half, so 50%. Specialty cost multiplier is 0.8. Our skill game multiplier is set to just 1. And then our skill points per action is at 3 zeros and a 5, 0.0005. And then the same thing, 1 more 0 and a 5 for craft experience.
Okay.
So you guys are using experience on action? How? Because that's it's slightly buggy, right? Do you have any issues with using that?
So we set it so low, almost because of the fact that a lot of the players on here will literally go and mine out 20,000 stone in a couple hours and just call it a day, you know? Like, we ran into the problem of people like smiths and everything couldn't keep up and afford food. So you almost needed a way in like farmers, and it almost gave them a way to where every time they pick something or break a rock, they get that experience that they wouldn't get from crafting. And just kind of gives them that little bump to where they're able to stay on the production curve and keep everything kind of lower prices. Because one of the biggest things we do on our server is we keep a closed loop economy. So we'll make, say, 50,000 credits at the beginning of the game and give 400 to everyone whenever they build a shop and make the credit and currency. And then off of that, we do government works to stimulate the economy. We have a road law that every time that you make a road or put down blocks for a road, it pays you.
Cool.
And that's why we end up with these giant asphalt roads everywhere and nice big wide places going everywhere, is because it helps people have a reason to be interconnected.
Yeah, you guys have tons of roads.
Yeah,
Just
and like good roads. They're like not like the 2 block wide, 3 block wide. They're like big.
No, that's especially once you start going out to like the mine and everything. We start getting everything around 8 to 10 wide, just because that gives us enough for 2 people to pass. Because we normally average around 10 online at a time, which doesn't sound like a lot, but whenever you're in a little area like this, you run into each other a lot.
Yeah, totally.
It's kind of funny. But this is kind of our main spawn of town, like our main area. We have like kind of a cluster of anything you could imagine. There's mining shop, coal shop, food shops, anything, bakeries, and it's kind of just all plopped on top of each other, which makes it fun because you always end up with the people that try to produce super cheap and almost run themselves out of business compared to the people that try and produce like super efficiently but charge a lot.
So have those people tend to survive better?
A lot of it, we try to balance it out to where there's never a point where you get choked out. So we like to make it to where even a new player, say that somebody, we have, wow, what was his name? Red Fox. He plays only on the weekends.
Okay. So
and he always comes back here. He changed his name to Carden. I was really confused, but he always comes back here on the weekends, and he's one of our players that we balance things to, because we can tell, oh, he came back on the weekend and he's still able to produce something, trade with people, and have food. That means that we're not too far ahead to where he can't even play with us, but he's not going to be dominating a market, you know?
Okay, yeah, so you can balance a pretty wide range. You're saying like people that sit down and mine 20,000 stone versus people that
we have
weekend.
Someone like me, Swift, Arab, who we have like 1,200 hours in the game compared to people that have a full life and full-time jobs and everything. It's trying to get everyone at every point of that to where they feel like they're a part of it. And that's kind of the ultimate goal of this server, is to try and find that balance.
So have you written down these? Because this sounds like you've done a lot of testing to get this
yes.
perfect balance.
So we have, I know Swift a lot. We have spreadsheet, conversion sheets. We have all the information. We could go ahead and, if you want to make a crimson salad, you could plug in the prices, the current market prices of anything, and we can spit you out what every step of the process is going to cost.
Wow, that's a lot of time, a lot of investment.
Yeah, we have. It's almost like we're kind of like a gaming group that finds really good games that are coming out, and we love to break them and just figure out how to max everything out.
Also, we seem to have
and try and just overall make it a better game.
We seem to have gotten a big raid in chat, in a Twitch chat. So thank you everyone for.
And that's kind of
coming over.
You'll kind of see it.
We seem to have just had a big raid in Twitch chat. So thank you for everyone for coming over. I definitely don't know any of these people at all. So we're looking at
Viking raid.
Yeah, no, it's exciting. So for those of you who just got here, this is the main city. This is Baghdad, where all the business happens, all the stores, fronts, and all the trading. And we're just talking about how you've passed like a lot of laws and have spreadsheets designed around balancing things so that both full-time gamers, we should say, and people that can only play during the weekends can all participate in a meaningful way in the economy.
Because that's, yeah, exactly. We love Wizzy, who's actually owns this main town hall right in the center. He's just one of the European guys. He hops on here all the time. He loves to make little farms. He comes on once a day and plays for about an hour or two. But he's a vital part of the economy, you know? That's being able to give somebody that can't even really put all the hours in that other players do, and allowing them to keep up and play with all their friends and meet new people. Like, we all love the try-harding in this game, the kind of the grind that you get out of it whenever you produce things and you get to build a whole entire economy around just you producing steel, but you have your 8 other friends that produce everything else that you need.
Yeah, totally. I mean,
and that's kind of balancing it out to where you might have players that are really, really cool but don't have all the time, but you still want them to play with you, you know? Like, they're the ones that make the coolest things.
Oh, absolutely. So, yeah, so...
Go ahead.
So yes. So real quick, so you have this bulletin board on issues, and you put in e-coins. So we want to just do a quick recap of that because I think we've got a lot of people that just showed up.
Oh, with how we do our voting. So we kind of have a offhand system for things that wouldn't really fit in the law system. So say that you have a direct, weird, windy road that you need going through a mountain or something. You can go ahead and ask the Public Works to put it up. They'll kind of map out what would be done and how much we'd expect to pay for that. And then everyone can just come in here and vote on it. So like that road just passed, that's actually going to go out to the strip mine from my house, because currently you have to go around the world twice to get to the...
It's not the most convenient.
To get to the... yeah, you'll see that in a little bit. But we're trying to build like a direct bridge that would hop islands to it and make it probably save us about 10 minutes each way.
Yeah, that seems like a big deal. Even with motor vehicles, that's still a lot of time.
Oh, yeah. And it's... Whenever you're doing like 4 or 5 trips on it, that becomes a lot of time. But it's great to just be able to kind of drive through and relax, because you'll be working, then you just kind of take a drive, get ran over by an elk every now and then. Exciting.
It totals become road bumps, you know.
Oh yeah.
They're surprisingly sturdy. I discovered that myself.
We love the the turtle highways that form whenever you build a road right next to a water and you have any type of food on the other side.
Oh.
You get the beautiful turtle highways, and they're hilarious. It's like real life. They're just everywhere.
Okay, so I think we've got a pretty good view of the Baghdad. So where's the next place we should visit, do you think?
So the next real area would be right on the other side of the mountain. You have kind of our mountaintop area with Arab and McNugget. Which I believe you're flying right over right now.
So I dropped down. I'm going to try to put a mark on the map so I can... Oh, I see.
Oh. So.
Let's drop a marker down. So
it's going to be right over... If you come out of J-Flows and turn right, where you're standing right now.
Okay, so we've got lots of trees. Lots of...
And then, it will be a big mountain, and you're going to cross over, and you'll see all our lasers from where Eine and them shot down the meteor and ended up beating Timbuktu.
Yeah, spoilers. There's lasers. It's very good.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We have lasers.
So you guys had multiple towns, and sounds like you guys were competing in some way?
Oh, yeah. So, I don't know why it just ends up on this server that every random person that joins this server instantly wants to compete. But I love it, but every iteration we've always had that happen. So over here, Eine who is
also,
part of our European squad.
Quick jump in, because Oliver, David, and Michael Partridge demands to know what's going on with the glow stick dolphin on a stick. Craig, do you want to explain the dolphin?
Yeah, like what? Like its origin, why it's there, or just generally about it?
Just probably generally about it, so people know.
So yeah, so there's every eco world you generate, there's a single dolphin statue somewhere hidden in the world, buried deep in underground. So apparently, the people of this server decided to find it and ended up building a town around it. Yeah, it's a great thing.
We have an issue with finding it. So the greatness behind it is it gives you a huge amount of skill points for putting it in your house if you find it. So it's really good for one person to find it, but everyone wants to find it, so they kind of work together and try and steal it from each other. That's normally how it happens. Everyone works together like, yeah, we're all combing the area. See, it's not over here. And then one person finds it and they go quiet. It's about exactly how it happened. So that's the...
Over in Twitch chat, we have Vidora's got a good question. Do we have sharks? Because we have laser beams, and we could maybe attach them. Do
we have what?
Sharks.
There are no sharks currently in the game, but lasers on sharks sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, we'll definitely get right on
that. It does. I would actually love to have a squad of orcas that attack with lasers. Incredible.
That's the disaster that comes later.
Yeah, that's like the hard mode. Easy mode is meteor, hard mode is laser sharks, so laser orcas.
That should be an Easter egg for if you raise the sea level too high, you get attacked by laser orcas.
Yeah.
Just saying, shameless plug.
Yeah, well, we'll get right on that. Okay,
I feel like that would not take any trouble animating.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah. We're definitely going to write promises that our art team will love us for.
Sounds like a killer whale idea. See you.
Yep. Gotcha.
See you in chat.
Okay, anyway, so
yes.
other than lasers, what do we have going on in this town? And lots of windmills.
So, real quick, some number 26 actually had a great question about triggering climate change, though. Yeah. So, in this game, there is a really hard balance of you want to produce as much as you can, but at the same time, you can't because you have to worry about killing everything around you. As you'll see, like, most around our town, everything's going to be wind turbines to power it. And as you're kind of closer to town, there you'll see like no pollution. But as we go out closer to the strip mine and stuff like that, you'll see that you can really affect the world in this. And that's one of the coolest parts about it. 2 servers ago, we ran into a huge issue of overproducing to the point where we flooded out basically the whole world. Like, you're talking, I had a house that was probably 10 blocks above water, and it turned into a boathouse.
So this is like
It's,
Kevin Costner Waterworld scenario.
yeah, it was great. It was hilarious, and it was all due to one person. He's hiding right here.
What were they
Swift.
producing?
Steel. Lots and lots of steel. I think he had around 20, 30 blast furnaces running at one point. Just in one location.
Were they like
So-
hidden? Were they hidden so like no one could see where they were or something?
So, that world we actually were planning on... Oh, he's apologizing for it now. But that world we were actually planning on trying to let the meteor strike in 30 days and just stockpiling everything and trying to live and build, right? Well, in the process of stockpiling everything and digging out the massive underground tunnels that went all the way around the world as bunkers, we ended up flooding the entire world and not being able to live in it. So we avoided the meteor, but we took ourselves out.
I feel like there's some morals to this story here somewhere.
Yeah, if you're gonna nuke the world, at least nuke the world in the eco way.
Yeah,
Good way.
that's definitely the takeaway.
Like, at least be nice about it. Yes, overproduction can be a huge problem.
Hindle, so you can survive the meteor. It just makes things kind of suck, like a lot, for a long time. But it doesn't actually
Yes.
end the game.
No. So we actually have done 2 times where we've lived a while after the meteor, which it's a struggle. It's definitely, we haven't tried the try hard of rebuilding the world afterwards, but I feel like you could if you like halted all production and stockpiled enough seeds and replanted, which actually might be a thing we try harder.
Maybe the next world. This one seemed to pretty well secured.
This one, we ended up getting pretty well. So I think there's actually a meteor above us somewhere because I know the people in Timbuktu wanted to shoot it down too.
So you added another one?
Yeah, they're like, we wanted some cool screenshots, so I think they're going to do that tonight. Because honestly, if none of y'all have seen it, it does look really cool.
It really is. It really is.
That is definitely an in-game thing that I don't want to spoil that you should play. And
yes, we have not posted, and we don't. I think sort of our policy is we're not showing any meteor impacts or any meteors getting shot down. Like those you can experience in game.
yeah, that would be. So, yes, you can survive the meteor. How is online multiplayer and official open? So, currently, as servers are hosted, a lot of them are kind of grassroots servers. Like, we're experimenting a lot on our server hosting side of what all works out, what's the best for us kind of thing. It's all money versus the world, you know? But yes, you can build a gun that stops it, but currently there's a lot of really good servers hosted by a lot of really good people. And I do know that SLG does run a test server that gets pretty crowded.
Yeah, we get a lot of people in that testing server.
Yeah.
Don't stick around very long, but it does. I don't think we've ever failed to destroy the meteor on it so far. So it does get reset approximately every month.
Ish, very much ish. And also going back real quick, Smoking Target. So you can local host and solo play. Right now, solo play is sort of not quite as good of an experience just because a lot of this cool stuff comes from multiplayer. So, while you can, we really do recommend finding a couple other people because that'll really give you more content.
And currently, character creation sits at mostly clothing, and it's mostly clothing, hair color, eye color. Like, you can see Swift right here, or Swift, as you can see on the screen, looks completely different from me standing next to him.
Yes, you do have a very nice hat, although it's a little bit dark, unfortunately. But I
Yeah.
noticed you have a nice hat and goggles.
Yeah, I got that. Got the nice dev gear. Yeah, got to give the love.
Excellent. Unfortunately, it's actually dark, so it's hard to see. But we should probably move on. So, where's the next spot worth checking out?
So next would probably be one of the mining groups that I hinted at, which if you fly to the farm, I wish I could dare drop you. Or,
What if you just go there? We can teleport.
yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah, just teleport to me. That would be the easiest. So I'm here right now.
You at the farm? What's that you said?
It's right before the farm. You just flew past me.
Okay, the wolf has not spotted
This is-
me yet.
I just saw you go shooting star past me. Someone had told me.
Okay.
Me and my friends want to make a personal channel to report bugs and exploits. So they actually do GitHub. GitHub allows them to kind of source everything through. That'd probably be best for them to explain.
Yeah, so if you come across a bug or something like that, we do have a GitHub issues. You can just open up an issues. It does require you to have a GitHub account. If you don't have one, I believe you should be able to just post in our Discord, our support channel, and support should open up one for you. And that's just for all bugs and exploits you find.
So this I kind of wanted to highlight as the insanity that comes with grinding out things and how fun it is to actually mine things, because you have like Dory and Ashley's house here, which looks completely unassuming, but you actually fly under the surface and you just see the complete insanity that is their mine.
Yeah, this is gigantic. Like, you could fit like large portions of that city just in these mines.
Yes. I wish y'all would have seen the last server. The whole city was built underground. It's a lot of work.
I would say like what did you do with all the stone?
So the biggest thing we do with it is we grind it into asphalt and stone roads, which we kind of just dot everywhere. And then the dirt we grind into dirt ramps to use for basically mining.
I guess I'm surprised that you need that many roads if your entire city was underground. Is just for like resources?
It is a lot of. So basically, you have to rush into large carts and then into the trucks and everything, because they completely change it. Once you get heavy machinery into here, it's so nice. It's just the ability. That's really what changes this from any other game, is just the ability to like get a truck and an excavator and a skid steer, cranes, things like that really, they change the whole entire progression of the game. And right whenever you're getting tired of doing something, it's fun to do another thing, you know?
Well, it's like the same thing, but 10 times as fast.
Oh, yeah. It is. There's nothing. But from here, the next good place is going to be Timbuktu.
Okay, we got that on the map, so we can just head over there.
Mm-hmm. That's the kind of second major city. I don't know if you would count Eine's city as separate from Baghdad, but they grew into us.
Yeah, a little bit. Okay. So, what are we looking at here?
Out here is Timbuktu, and this is actually the second group, which I have to admit, I love how they build. I think it's a 5-man group that are all friends with each other. Doug, Zhang, Canderson. They all just kind of city planned this out and then built on top of each other and ended up with this crazy cool little trading post that's halfway between the strip mine and the town.
Okay, does that location actually come in handy quite a bit? Because it's
so it's really nice with them because they end up being able to snag all the steel. Because at the strip mine, I sell steel and iron for the cost of production, like just for basically free if you can come and grab it to produce economy and stuff.
Yeah.
and because it just grinds out experience, and that little bit of money adds up. But them being so close allows them to grab everything and produce it, and then they drive it into town and sell it and make all the money off of us. So they basically made a whole entire market of being the middlemen.
Oh, very cool. Arbitrage is, I guess, valuable. Turns out. So what is this giant stockpile full of stuff? Is this the goods that are going to be going into the main town in Baghdad?
That right there, I have no idea. So probably, I know one of their main production buildings is this like brick building. These two like brick buildings right here. So from a player, I would assume that's a really good place for them to just drag things out of their shops and throw it.
Sure.
But that's a lot of stuff that's going to have to move.
Also, I noticed that they have a lot of mooses.
Yeah, we do have.
Sorry, that's correct.
We do have a beautiful monument back in the main town that I don't think y'all saw to the death of all the elks on this server. It is a very heartfelt and touching memorial, but there are a lot of dead elk on this server. They kind of their bodies were for a good cause.
Okay, cool.
But they make a really cool decoration. I think it's probably one of the coolest models in the game.
Yeah, definitely. So I noticed you got a pawn shop here. What is that? Is that just random stuff people trade around, or?
So I know he was buying and producing kind of furniture and everything. So that shop has changed names a lot, but I think pawn shop kind of stuck because it always changes around.
I got it.
So it's like never really one shop. It's kind of whatever it's doing at the time. Because I know at one point he was buying up all of the claim flags on the server. He was producing all these elk that you see beautifully adorned poorly on the walls.
So this is really just sort of everything. If people wanted it,
they really focused in on doing whatever wasn't produced, and they got really good at that.
Oh, excellent.
Because that is one thing that you find with this game is whenever people start moving up in things or doing something else, they don't always have the time to produce what they were producing. So somebody can actually make a whole entire market producing the same thing somebody else was because they just don't have the time to do it.
Cool. So notice we've got a shop here that's just full of machinery.
Oh yeah. I don't think we saw the public machining shop.
Was that in the Baghdad?
That's back towards Baghdad on the far side of it.
Okay.
Where I was going to end everything.
Oh, very nice dig dugs. That's classic.
Oh yeah.
Good that people appreciate the classics. Okay, so it looks like we've
Zang Dug.
It looks like we've done this city pretty well. So where's next?
Next would be the Poor Tailings Depot strip mine, and this is going to show you what happens whenever you just like destroy the area around you. So this was completely made because we ran into an issue of having too many active players to not be able to actually produce all the materials they needed. So as you can see, this is just right now all this stone is what's making the asphalt roads you see everywhere on this server. And even this, we're having a hard time keeping up.
Wow, so I've been on here a few times recently, and this has gone still like quite a few levels down.
Yes, it will. So we are expecting to hit bedrock by reset, and I think reset was going to start being voted on in 5 days.
So if you hit bedrock, you're just going to start a new place, or what's the plan?
Oh no, so this whole thing's going to be dug completely out to bedrock, and we're just going to keep making it bigger and bigger. But the way our server works is after about the 25th day, we put up a vote to reset, and then you either have yes, no, or vote again in 3 days.
How long on average have people voted for?
We normally stay around the. It depends. This one will probably be another week, probably. I would say how it feels because we're still averaging like 10, 15 people playing actively at one time.
Okay, so it's more almost of what the engagement is, and once people start losing interest,
Yeah,
you're gonna...
it's more once people kind of get to that point where they're done, they feel like their buildings are done, their houses are done, they got all their screenshots, and they feel complete with it. Then we move on, and it's kind of nice because it's a whole new world, and you come across something random, and you decide that you're gonna build. Like we had one really cool one where we came across just a complete drop. For no apparent reason, in the middle of one of the places, there was this really deep pit. So we decided to build a town on it, and we had to have scaffolding to get across to everything. Because why not?
Sure,
it led to a really cool way of just building.
Absolutely. So what is this tunnel down here? Are you also tunneling down for more stuff, or?
So this is kind of a pilot tunnel, how we did it. If you look at the beginning, we would have started with about 2 ramps, then flat. And then it goes 2 ramps and then a flat space. And that's so that we can take an excavator or a skid steer and come in and level out that area on the next go around. And always have a way back up to the top so we don't get stuck.
Is this a thing that's happened before you figured this out?
Oh, yeah. This is many trials and tribulations. So it's kind of... Each one of these levels, we can do each level in probably about 3 hours if we're all trying.
Is that with like...
And then you move down to the next level.
How many people is 3 hours?
So right now we lost our Europeans, so we have like 5 online right now. But about 1 a.m. my time or about 3 a.m. your time, we'll have the European invasion that comes on. And that's kind of one of the great parts about this server is they come on, and whenever we all go to bed, they build these crazy wonderful things. We wake up and get to see them. They all go to bed. We build these crazy wonderful things. They wake up, they get to see them.
Absolutely. So it's almost like a little bit of a Christmas every time you jump on because there's something new going on.
That's one of the oldest. We have J-Flow, who we call we call him the like Herald of the Sleep. Because all of us go to bed about 1 a.m. and he comes on at that exact time.
Okay, so you always see him.
That's great. Every night he comes on, we give him a tour of what we did, and then we go to bed.
Do you ever leave little Easter eggs unmentioned and wait for people to stumble across them?
Sometimes we have a very open policy on messing with people on this server. Especially once you become friends with them. Because a lot of people on here know each other for a long time, so there's a lot of times where we'll renovate somebody's house without them knowing.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, you might log on and you have a wall around your house that is just like completely hilarious. And you might log on and you're standing in a giant pit and you're just like, how did I end up in a pit?
Yeah.
You got to keep it interesting, you know?
I know. Absolutely. So what is this giant structure on top of this? Like, you have a glass sort of roof on top? Is this cosmetic?
So the glass roof kind of is cosmetic, kind of serves a purpose. So it adds to the room volume and gives you the, like, tier 5 materials to make everything worth more and let more workbenches work.
Sure.
But at the same time, it really looks cool.
It really does.
Whenever you see this on a night shot and you drive up and all you see is smokestacks everywhere billowing out of it and just a lighted pyramid hovering above a giant pit, it kind of looks cool.
No, totally.
So that's makes that one a little better. Oh, and for anyone else, feel free to come tour if you'd like to. Servers ENJOIMYECO. It's easy to find.
You won't get the nice fly mode that we have, but definitely Just walk
But
around a bit.
you definitely get a cool perspective walking around. Things look a lot bigger when you're not flying.
I think things look pretty big still, but yes.
You won't know how big a building is until you get stuck in it and you have to hop your way out. That's when you come to discover.
Okay. Are there any other areas you think we should visit?
These are kind of the main areas. If you want to head back to Timbuktu, we can kind of walk around it and kind of show you more of like what building and like N-tier buildings look like. Kind of let people see like what we've decided to build things and how things efficiently work out for us. Because there's a lot of little tricks to squeezing out that little bit extra of room volume or that little bit extra of skill points per day.
Sure, definitely. That would be a great thing to cover.
I feel like those small things kind of make the game like fun because you're kind of challenging yourself. Like, how am I gonna do this without making it look bad?
Yeah, no, I mean, because again, these are like obviously functional, but also they do look very nice, which is, I think, I won't say it's trivial to make functional buildings, but it's much easier just to make ugly functional than attractive functional.
Oh yeah, it's hard, and it's kind of funny because you always end up where everyone kind of starts building their own thing, and then it gets to a point where they get close enough to each other that they realize they need to match each other, else it won't look good. So you see them tear down their entire building and rebuild it, and it's hilarious. It's great.
Could you maybe pass some laws about building materials or something? Like, I don't know.
I could, and that kind of would work, but it's kind of fun to see because it's always the design that's working out the best wins. And it's normally not like the other person doesn't want to upgrade their stuff. They kind of just look at it and they go, well, that looks really good. And they look at their place and they're like, oh, I have a square.
Okay, so just people feel the pressure to up their game. They just sort of naturally do that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Also, I notice you've got a little farm down here. You're growing some mushrooms.
So. Looking on the stream, it looks like you're in Timbuktu, and yeah, they have they have a huge mushroom farm, and I believe they have a straight drop. Yeah, they do have the elevator straight drop to it.
Oh yeah,
that was a long joke for the longest time because the only way to get down to the mushroom patch was just jumping, and then there was no way back up. So you would always see like Zhang or somebody complaining that they had to swim all the way around for a while.
So we have a technical question from Dash Call. The world appears to be a sphere. How do you make the voxels work? That's more probably for Craig.
So if I said it was alien magic, would anyone believe me?
Basically
Probably
true.
not, right? Yeah. So the world actually isn't a sphere. It just appears to be a sphere. I guess I could go more in depth than that, but that's pretty much how it works.
So if it's not a sphere, what is it?
It is a flat plane of existence that magically works.
The flat earthers were right.
From a player's perspective, if you want to see some voodoo magic, come play this game and build on like an X, Y, and Z axis, build on those zeros, and just kind of think about how the game has to figure out where you are. Like, because it's all flat, but everything in this game you can build and connect to each other, and you could drive on a road underground all the way around the world infinitely. And the game would never care, but somebody could be building something on either side of that, and it works perfectly fine.
So
honestly, that's the coolest thing about this game. Like,
yeah. So basically, it's a bunch of voxels. The voxels are all the same size. They don't get smaller if you go down. They don't get bigger if you go up. The world does wrap though, so yeah, you can go around it in a circle.
And sadly, you can't dig through the world.
Yeah, yes. And you cannot dig through the world.
That's the first thing everyone tries to do.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yes.
You guys ever tried seeing how far you could build up?
The highest I think we've gotten up to is 170-ish units.
It's like pretty tall. A little bit tall.
So that one, whenever I told you about the house that turned into a houseboat. So my mine in the bottom of it, because we were preparing for the end of the world, went all the way down to bedrock. And it was a giant frame glass tunnel because I thought it looked really cool when you're in the elevator going up and down. You know, it looked really neat. But one of the players on here, old Greg, made a great comment and was like, wow, this is really Willy Wonka-like. So me being me, I had to build a giant pyramid on top of my house.
Obviously.
And then build the tallest structure I possibly could. Because one thing with this game, you can build up, but you can't just, like, place stuff in the air. So you have to build, like, a platform. So I built it to where it wouldn't, like, show anymore that it was there, put an elevator on top, and had it go all the way down to the bottom of the mine. So people would get on the elevator in the mine, they would be expecting to go up to the top of my house, and they just drift off into infinity in the sky and get an amazing view of the town. It was really funny.
So you did just make the great glass elevator.
Yes, it was really fun. That was a fun experience. I don't think I would ever do it again because it was a lot of work, but definitely made a really cool video.
Oh, nice. Is it somewhere we can find online?
So there is. I can link it through on Eco, but I know there are screenshots of it in the Eco screenshots if you look back.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely dig through those archives a little bit. Yeah,
and that's kind of funny.
Yeah, totally.
But any other questions or anything anyone wants to see?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I've seen a lot of really cool things. Whoops, I'm flipping to the building.
Oh wait, yeah, the mechanic.
But yeah, if chat has any questions for developers or for this world, because there's a whole lot of cool things. Let's pull up the map. Let's see. So I've upped the draw distance for shooting video.
Oh, Dashkill was talking about wrapping and how it would be hard to where if you took a left turn, it would take the same number of blocks to get back to the main road.
I'm not sure I understand the question, or I don't quite get that, I guess. So Dashkill, if you want to explain that a little more. I'm just saying, is it basically a flat plane where one edge connects to the opposite edge?
Yes.
Yeah. But it's on all the edges, which is actually sort of a sphere, but not actually a sphere.
Oh, Kat, if you want to teleport to me, I'm right on the machinist shop.
Craig, what's the teleport command? Is it just teleport?
No question. I'm just trying to poke. I feel the same way. That's every time I build something in this,
wait, which one are you?
and it lines up
LE,
too well.
Which one?
I always question. I'm just like, how did? Okay. Because it's really cool, especially whenever you build really tall buildings, because you can see the curvature that's shown in the world. And it's just really cool to see how they build up together whenever you have really tall towers. Sure. But yes, all in this machinist room, there's pretty much every table you could dream of. Just kind of crammed in here. Everyone on the server is a little too ADD to go more than one place, so we just kind of have to put it all there.
Okay, sorry, it took me a little bit to get here, figuring out the commands. Yeah, so they've got nice big stockpile on the roof, and then all of the toys. So do people basically like check out things they want and just pick them up and take them out to actually use them?
So most of this room, if anyone asks, we whitelist them on the tables, mostly just because we don't want people, like random people coming in here and changing where things are in the queue for each table, you know?
Yeah.
But we pretty much, anyone that needs access to this, we whitelist them because not all these tables are going to be used 90% of the time. And the nice part out of that is at one point you can actually charge people. So at one point you actually charge people, so it pretty much paid for the building of these.
Oh, nice. So
and then whenever they used them, it just ended up paying the person that built them pretty much back what needed to be paid over time.
Yeah, so you could basically we're renting out tools.
Yes.
Dash call, there is excellent mod support. So poke me later. I'll send you, or you can go out to the official Discord. But
Yes, they do have great mods on here. We don't use mods much on this server. We have before, but
I would say, like, because you guys are sort of hitting the borders of what's possible in eco. Like,
yes.
What mods have you liked or have you used?
We've played around with some of the storage mods and like nuclear mods and stuff, but we play on other servers for that most of the time. This server's always been kind of like a purist server, we want to find what the edge of what you can do with the vanilla game is.
Sure, it makes sense. And also that if you have new players, that makes it easy for people to onboard.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, whenever you log into a world and you see a nuclear reactor and a whole bunch of stuff going on, it's kind of like, it can be overwhelming for new players. And a lot of the new players that are coming to this games are the ones that have the craziest ideas on what to do. So they're really fun to have in your games.
Yeah, totally.
That's like, we have a lot of our day-to-day players are just a lot of people that come in here for the first time and they stick for a while. So they just come in here, we teach them all how to play, stuff like that. And so we're mostly an 18+ server.
Is that
just
like
in voice chat?
Or is it
so
just
in voice chat?
Oh, okay.
In our Discord. So in Eco, in the server, we allow anyone, but to be on the Discord, we just have 18+ because we're all parents. We don't want to filter ourselves, but at the same time, it's your kids, and this is a very kid-friendly game, and we don't want to, push that away. But
totally.
So, lost my train of thought. But basically, it just works out to where we pretty much, anyone in voice chat that joins, we work out with them. Anyone new to the game, if they have any questions, it's like kind of support them and teach them the smaller mechanics of this game, because that's what actually makes it like fun and interesting. Is any game you can come and hit a rock, but not any game can you create a whole entire trade network with laws, and you have whole entire people who all their job is to transport one thing from here to there.
Yeah, exactly. Specialization is
it's so much fun. I've done a whole entire run where all I did was odd job. I was like the richest person on the server because all I did was what other people didn't want to do, and they just paid me to do it.
That's how economies work.
Exactly. It was great.
Well, excellent. So I think we got about 5 minutes left. One second. So looking at chat, so Crazy Pete was saying the inventories was the issue. So they stopped playing a while ago. So Crazy Pete. So we are playing the vanilla game here, right? So I'm correct with that. But we're just talking about mods.
So I know talking about inventory. Stop playing. So I know one of the biggest things with inventory is a lot of people don't know how all of the tables and stuff work out. So a lot of things is, say that you go to your crafting table and you have one storage chest that you want it to feed into, you would move that storage chest. You can name it whatever to distinguish it. You take that, move it up to the top priority in the storage tab, and that allows it to feed into that first. That makes sense. So say that you're producing steel from a blast furnace. You can set it to where this chest is going to be the first one to fill up, then it moves to the next one in the order. And that also kind of feeds in the same way whenever you're trying to do like a storage chain. So like in our strip mine, we have a lot of things where it will go from a truck into a bloomery, and then from the bloomery we'll make an iron bar. That iron bar will go into a chest that goes automatically into a blast furnace, and that blast furnace turns it into steel.
But this is all without anyone touching it.
Yes. And then the way that we did it to break it up even more is there's two different blast furnaces, both pulling from the same boxes. But those blast furnaces can produce, say, either steel or rebar, and it will send it down a whole different production chain just because that blast furnace pulled that iron bar first.
Huh. Yeah.
So it's all kind of like we have an assembly line where you go through to each one of the benches, ready it up, and it's all automated. It will produce the whole entire truck. You just put in the materials into the box and the base materials, and it will produce a whole truck for you.
Yeah, so you literally have an assembly line.
Yes. And that's the point of where you're trying to min-max and just trying to have fun with it and see what the game can do.
Okay, so the server exploded for me. Is that just me?
I think that's just...
well, that is unfortunate, but I guess I wasn't looking at anything super important. I was just admiring the shiny dolphin. So yeah, so Dashcall's talking a little bit about how the torso...
Actually, this is completely the worst on me. It might be backing up, so you might...
Well, it's also, we're about at 4 o'clock, which is when we're going to try to call this. So I think, do you have any closing thoughts or anything you'd like to say to all of dozens of viewers?
No, just everyone that viewed. If you haven't tried out this game, I would highly recommend it. It's really interesting. It has a very, very hard 24-hour learning curve because there's just so much to know. But once you play about a day in the game, it's almost self-explanatory once you learn the basics of everything. So I wouldn't feel discouraged just because it seems like you're kind of flooded with information, because that information, once you actually read it, it digests really well.